The Intermediate Lifecycle Courses. Continual Service Improvement. Lesson 15. Organizing for Continual Service Improvement. Welcome to Lesson 15. In this lesson, we will look at the foundations that need to be in place to allow continual service improvement to function successfully. We will focus on the roles and responsibilities associated with improvement, including Service Owner, the generic process roles, and the Csi Manager. We will also look at how authority matrices can be used in support of continual service improvement. The information in this lesson relates to the syllabus section CSI 05. Remember, it's strongly recommended that you carry out further reading in the Continual Service Improvement Core volume as part of your exam preparation. In many respects, continual service improvement is no different from any other service management process. It will only be successful if specific roles and responsibilities are properly identified. These roles do not need to be full-time positions, but it is important that roles are identified and allocated at the start of a continual service improvement implementation. As continual service improvement matures, roles can be redefined and responsibilities reallocated. We're going to start by studying some generic service management roles, beginning with the Service Owner. The Service Owner is defined as being responsible to the customer for the initiation, transition, and ongoing maintenance and support of a particular service. Think about your organization. Who does the customer engage with if a service is not performing as expected? Service owners are essential in a service management organization. They provide ownership for processes crossing multiple vertical silos or departments. In a smaller organization, a single person could be the service owner for more than one service. The other service owner responsibilities are shown here. Liaising with process owners throughout the service lifecycle. Solicit any required data, statistics, and reports for analysis, and to allow service performance to be monitored. And finally, being accountable to the IT Director or Service Management Director for the delivery of the service. The Service Owner is a primary stakeholder in all of the underlying IT processes which enable or support the service they own. Some examples of this are shown here. Incident Management. The Service Owner is involved in or perhaps chairs the Crisis Management Team for high-priority incidents impacting the service owned. Problem Management. The Service Owner plays a major role in establishing the root cause and proposed permanent fix for the service being evaluated. Release and Deployment Management. The role is a key stakeholder in determining whether a new release affecting a service in production is ready for promotion. Other processes that the Service Owner is a key stakeholder in are Change Management, by participating in Change Advisory Board decisions. Service Asset and Configuration Management, ensuring that all groups which maintain the data and relationships for the service architecture have done so with a level of integrity required. And Service Level Management, acting as the single point of contact for a specific service and ensuring that the service portfolio and service catalog are accurate in relationship to their service. Finally, the Service Owner plays a part in Availability and Capacity Management, review of technical monitoring data from a domain perspective to ensure that the needs of the overall service are being met. IT Service Continuity Management, responsibility for ensuring that all elements required to restore their service are known and in place in the event of a crisis. Information security management, making sure the service conforms to security policies. And IT financial management, assisting in defining and tracking the cost models in relation to how their service is costed and recovered. The service owner role is a vitally important role within an organization. The service owner is highly visible to the customer, so will help to create effective customer relationships. The customer can talk about problems as soon as they occur, so the service provider can address them quickly. You'll find a full list of the service owner responsibilities in the study guide for this lesson. Next, we're going to study the generic process roles, starting with the process owner. At a high level, the process owner is responsible for ensuring that all activities defined within the process are undertaken. The process owner will have responsibilities that relate to the defining of a process, and then ongoing responsibilities as the process beds into the organization. Let's start by looking at how a process owner is involved in defining a process. The role will define the process strategy and assist with process design to make sure it will fulfill the overall strategy. The process owner role will also ensure that up-to-date process documentation is available and help to define appropriate policies and standards to be employed throughout the process. For example, the change management process owner may set policies and standards about what will be classed as a change and what level of information is needed. Once a process is established, the process owner will ensure it is followed and is working appropriately. The process owner will carry out periodic audits to make sure the process complies with the set policies and standards. They will also review the process strategy regularly to make sure it is appropriate. If the strategy is no longer appropriate, then changes will be implemented. The process owner will also issue communication about the process. Staff will need to know the process exists and be kept up to date if the process changes. Other process owner responsibilities include: provide process resources to support required activities throughout the life cycle. Ensure process technicians have the required knowledge, technical and business understanding to deliver the process. And ensure all process technicians understand their role in the process and what they are authorized to do. The process owner will also regularly review the process and look for any potential enhancements. This could include addressing any feedback from stakeholders who are not happy with the performance of the process. Finally, the process owner will address ongoing issues with the process and provide input to the overall CSI register. Processes need to be measured to ensure they are performing in line with any key performance indicators. If they are failing to meet their key performance indicators, this could well initiate an improvement action. Supporting the process owner will be the process manager role. This role is responsible for the operational management of a process. It's possible to have more than one manager per process in larger organizations. It's also possible to combine the process owner and process manager roles in smaller organizations. Accountabilities for a process manager include: working with a process owner to plan and coordinate process activities, making sure activities are carried out, appointing staff to process roles, and managing resources assigned to the process. Further accountabilities for the process owner include: working with service owners and other process managers, monitoring and reporting on process performance, identifying improvements to add to the CSI register and making improvements to the process implementation, working with CSI to prioritize and review improvements on the CSI register. Finally, there is the Process Practitioner role. This role actually carries out process activities. Again, it can be more than one person, or it can be merged with a Process Manager if the organization is smaller. As well as carrying out process activities, process practitioners will understand how their role contributes to service delivery and value creation, work with other stakeholders as required, make sure inputs, outputs, and interfaces for activities are correct, and create or update any necessary records, for example, incident or change records. We also need to study one CSI-specific role, the Csi Manager. This role is ultimately responsible for all improvement activities, no matter where they are carried out. A single point of accountability needs to be combined with competence and authority to ensure that a culture of improvement can be successfully built. This role may also be the process owner for the 7-step improvement process. Time for an exercise. Plan to spend 15 minutes on this exercise, and don't forget to check your study guide for a suggested solution. Your organization is planning to recruit a CSI manager, but they are unsure what the role will include. List at least 10 responsibilities for a CSI manager. For example, design of the CSI register might be part of the role. The diagram on screen shows a high-level breakdown of activities within continual service improvement. You'll find a more detailed version of this in the study guide for this lesson. At each level, skills will be needed to carry out the activities. For example, managerial skills will be required to successfully present and use information to get management buy-in for improvements. Accuracy and precision will be needed to carry out the low-level routine tasks involved in areas such as gathering data. We're going to break down this model and look at CSI roles from the perspective of the 7-step improvement process. Firstly, the 7-step improvement process will need an owner. This role will carry out the generic process owner activities we've already discussed. In addition, it will work with the CSI manager, service and process owners and functions to make sure that the improvement process is embedded throughout the service lifecycle. The improvement process also needs a process manager. In addition to their generic activities, the process manager will plan and manage support for any improvement tools and processes, work with the CSI manager, service owners, process owners, and functions to keep the CSI register up to date, and coordinate interfaces between the process and any other processes, service managers, or functions. The last role we will look at in detail is that of Reporting Analyst. The Reporting Analyst is a key role for continual service improvement and will often work closely with service level management. The role involves reviewing and analyzing data from components, systems, and subsystems, and then reporting true end-to-end service achievement. The Reporting Analyst will also identify trends and establish if the trends are positive or negative. This information is then used in the presenting of the data. The Reporting Analyst will carry out activities shown here. Participate in continual service improvement meetings and service level management meetings to ensure the validity of the reporting. Consolidate data from multiple sources. Produce trends and provide feedback on the trends. And be responsible for producing reports on service or system performance based on the negotiated operational level agreements and service level agreements. A reporting analyst needs specific skills to be successful in their role, including the examples shown here. Good understanding of statistical and analytical principles and processes. Strong technical foundation in the reporting tools in use in the organization. Good communication skills. And good technical understanding and an ability to translate technical requirements and specifications into easily understood reporting requirements. Now we're going to walk through the 7-step improvement process and identify some of the other roles that need to be involved in order for the process to be successful. You'll also find some supporting tables in your study guide. Step 1 is to identify the strategy for improvement. The roles involved here will be strategic decision makers who are involved in the creation of a business vision. They also need to understand how IT supports the business vision. Individuals who define strategic, technical, and operational goals are all involved here. Roles involved during Step 1 could include Strategy Manager, Service Owner, Service Level Manager, Customers, Senior Business Managers, Business and IT Analysts, Senior IT Managers. The activities at this stage will be higher management level activities. They will have a high degree of variation and will be action-oriented, communicative, and forward-looking. Strategies and business drivers are likely to be a major input at this level. To perform these activities, the roles involved will need a number of key skills. These include being comfortable working at a high management level, good communication skills, and the ability to handle complex situations. Staff need to be future-focused and have good managerial skills and appropriate experience. As you'll recall, Step 2 is to define what you will measure. At this stage, the roles involved are decision makers from IT and the business. They should understand the internal and external factors that will influence the elements that should be measured. Measures will need to support the business, governance, and regulatory or legislative drivers. The roles involved at this stage should include Service Owner, Service Level Manager, Continual Service Improvement Manager, Process Owner, Process Managers, Customers, Business and IT Analysts, and internal and external providers. Would anyone else be involved for your organization? The activities at this stage will also be higher management level activities. They will have a high degree of variation and will be action-oriented, communicative, and forward-looking. To perform these activities, the roles involved will need a number of key skills. These include being comfortable working at a high management level, good communication skills, and the ability to handle complex situations. Staff need to be future-focused and have good managerial skills and appropriate experience. Now, Step 3, the gathering of data. At this stage, the roles involved are those involved in day-to-day process activities within the service transition and service operation lifecycle phases. The roles will include service desk staff, technical management staff, application management staff, and IT security staff, and many more. The activities in this step are procedural, routine, repetitive tasks, which are often automated. They are clerical level, with low variation, and are usually standardized. Skills required at this level reflect the activities to be carried out. Staff need to have high levels of accuracy and precision, with relevant training and technical experience. We require detail-oriented staff at this level. The next step is Step 4, processing the data. The roles involved at this stage are similar to those involved in the analyzing data step. The individuals involved in day-to-day process activities within the service transition and service operation lifecycle phases. The roles will include service desk staff, technical management staff, application management staff, and IT security staff. The activities in this step will again be automated and procedural, occurring within set structures. They will be mechanistic, with medium levels of variation, and specialized staff will be required. The skills required to carry out these activities will be numerical skills, with relevant programming and toolset experience. Staff will need to be methodical and accurate, and apply relevant training to their roles. The precise nature of the training will depend on the organization and the types of tools and data in use. Step 5, analyze the data, includes roles that are concerned with providing the service. They may be internal and external providers, but they will understand the capabilities of the measuring processes, procedures, tools, and staff. Specific roles involved in data analysis are service owner, process managers, business, IT analysts, senior IT analysts, and supervisors and team leaders. During this step, activities will be investigative and require intellectual effort. These are not just routine tasks. They will be medium to high variation, and specialized staff need to be used to adopt a goal-oriented approach. Discovering trends through analysis can require a degree of lateral thinking. Skills required to analyze data will include analytical and modeling skills, as well as relevant programming experience and education. As we mentioned previously, an inventive attitude is required to see patterns and trends that may not be immediately apparent. Step 6. Presenting and using the information is next. Again, this will involve staff who provide the service and who understand the capabilities of the service. They will also understand the underpinning processes and possess good communication skills. In summary, key decision-makers from both IT and the business will need to be involved. Specific roles involved in presenting and using the data would be Continual Service Improvement Manager, Service Owner, Service Level Manager, Process Owner, Process Managers, Customers, Business and IT Analysts, Senior IT Managers, and internal and external service providers. Activities in this step take place at the higher management level and require communication skills and a capacity for forward thinking. There will be a high degree of variation, and staff need to be action-oriented. As you can imagine, this step can include challenging situations such as business case development and senior management presentations. Skills will include being comfortable working at a high management level, good communication skills, and the ability to handle complex questions. Staff need to be future-focused and have good managerial skills and the appropriate experience. Step 7 is the implementation of corrective action. This step will involve roles that provide the service, such as Continual Service Improvement Manager, Service Owner, Service Level Manager, Process Owner, Process Managers, Customers, Business and IT Analysts, senior IT managers, and internal and external providers. The activities at this level again require intellectual effort, with an investigative and goal-oriented approach. There will be a medium to high level of variation, requiring staff with specialized skills and business management. Skills required will be analytical and modeling, combined with an inventive attitude. Staff will need relevant education and programming skills dictated by technology in use in the organization. There are some overlaps between three roles we've discussed in this course: Continual Service Improvement Manager, Service Level Manager, and Service Owner. The study guide for this lesson contains a table which shows where the primary and secondary focus sits for tasks that cross multiple roles. That concludes our look at specific roles associated with continual service improvement. It may be difficult to picture how all these roles work together. We have studied the responsibilities of each role, but roles may contribute to or participate in the responsibilities of another role as well. One way of showing this information clearly is to use an authority matrix. This section is a syllabus requirement, and we're going to look at authority matrices in detail. Processes span function areas and are not necessarily limited to one specific organizational unit. Just think for a moment about the different roles involved in operating the change management process. People involved in assessment, approval, implementation and review, and so on. The many roles and activities are coordinated by process managers. In the case of change management, it's the change manager. Once detailed procedures and work instructions are developed for a process, the activities and roles need to be mapped to existing staff. Clear definitions of accountability and responsibility are critical success factors for any improvement activity. Without this, staff may feel confused and threatened and revert to previous ways of working. To assist with the definition of roles and responsibilities, an authority matrix is often used within organizations. This shows the roles and responsibilities in relation to processes and activities. Many variations of the authority matrix exist, but we will concentrate on the Csi model. You will have studied this at foundation level. Remember, it stands for responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. Using the Csi model means that there is only one person accountable for an activity, although they may be reliant on others for executing parts of the activity. Accountable means end-to-end accountability for the process, and should stay with the same person for all the activities of a process. Before we move on, it is important to understand the distinction between a formal function within an organization and the process roles that the function is expected to carry out. A formal function may fulfill more than one specific service management role and carry out activities relating to more than one process. For example, think about a second-line support team that carries out incident management and capacity management activities. A member of this team will be responsible for carrying out activities for the respective process owners, even though they do not directly report to them in terms of line management. The authority matrix helps to clarify which activities and roles staff are expected to fulfill. In addition, it will identify any gaps in service delivery and responsibilities. It is especially helpful in clarifying the staffing model necessary for improvement. The Csi model also helps to resolve two further issues. Firstly, identifying the responsible roles on a Csi matrix typically represents potential operational level agreement opportunities. And, secondly, identifying roles that must be kept informed helps to expose communication and workflow paths. This is helpful for continual service improvement when defining the communication procedures around improvements. There are some potential issues with the Csi model as shown here. If more than one person is accountable for a process, it means that in practice, no one is accountable. Delegation of responsibility or accountability may occur without necessary authority. Focus on matching processes and activities with departments may hide organizational structure issues. Incorrect division and/or combination of functions or conflicting agendas and goals can lead to confusion. And combination of responsibility for closely related processes such as change, configuration, and release management may overload staff. Csi models are very useful when defining process flows. For example, the change management process flow can be used in conjunction with Csi. You'll remember from your foundation course that the process involves a number of steps, including recording and reviewing RFCs, assessment and approval of changes, leading through to review and closure of change records. Now, the next logical step is to take each major activity in the process and expand it into a detailed flow of specific procedures, tasks, and work instructions. The diagram here shows the major activity of authorized change, expanded with roles clearly defined. We can now understand exactly which roles are involved in change authorization at each level. We can use the diagram on screen to summarize what we have been looking at in this lesson. We have introduced a number of roles, which may already exist in your organization. If an organization is to be truly service-focused and forward-thinking, these roles are crucial. Continual service improvement does not happen by itself. It requires a structured program and mature processes. The roles shown on the diagram need to work in unison to deliver effective continual service improvement. You've completed Lesson 15, Organizing for Continual Service Improvement. In this lesson, we've looked at key activities and skills for continual service improvement, roles including the Continual Service Improvement Manager, and the use of authority matrices to support continual service improvement. Don't forget to download your study guide before you move on. In Lesson 16, we'll study critical success factors, challenges, and risks for continual service improvement.